Hey guys, how are you? Welcome back to another session of the Holistic Mind Live. I'm your host Anulal. I'm an author, entrepreneur, educator, and in the previous few sessions we have had so many things that we discussed, and you can find all those sessions updated on our Instagram page as well as on our YouTube channel. Some of them are not updated on the YouTube channel, but you can find it here on Instagram. You can find all of them here. And welcome back once again to the Holistic Mind Live. So, how are you guys doing? It's a great day, isn't it? It's a great day, and we are going to welcome a great guest today. Let's welcome the COO of Writers'Kalam and the Chief Editor of the Holistic Mind, Ankush ma'am. Yes, here she is. Hey ma'am, how are you? Welcome back to the Holistic Mind Live.
Thank you so much, sir. And how are you? I hope you're doing
Yes.
well.
I'm doing good. Yes. So I've been, telling our audience that you could find all the previous sessions here on Instagram, and some of them are also on YouTube. So you can go to our YouTube channel, Writers Kalam, and you can watch those videos. Let's get back to today's live session, and today we have some very interesting topics to talk about, right, ma'am?
Yes, yes, we do have.
Yeah. And what is the first one? The first one, the anthology.
Yes.
Yes, Writers Column Publishing has almost completed the submission process of our much awaited anthology, The Equations of Love. And recently we launched the cover also, and it was awesome. What do you think about the cover, ma'am?
Yes, the cover was very nice. It was loved by all our writers, and I think that was the biggest success that
Hmm.
it had a class factor. It was wow in every sense. It was classic and minimalistic, yet it was apt according to the theme.
Hmm. I think in the post-COVID world, people, these days are tending towards minimalism in general. Minimalism seems to be in vogue these days, right? Because we have been sticking to the bare minimums during the COVID period, and obviously it must have had some impact on our thinking and behaving patterns. Probably that's why, I don't know, but it creates magic these days, when you do something like that. And when you see something as beautiful as our cover, the cover of the new Equations of Love anthology, it's fascinating, wonderful. And we have also started the pre-order campaign for this anthology, and a few authors have ordered it, and a lot of them are yet to order. I hope that they will order the copies, the print copies. Obviously, we are giving away author copies for free in digital format, but it is also important for a publishing house to sustain itself. And only if the authors purchase copies and the readers purchase copies that the publishing house can sustain. And see, the idea I think is simply this. I heard it once from a very, very popular writer. He had said that whenever a book of his came out, he would buy copies of his book from a nearby bookstore. He would walk to that store and purchase his own books, And when online stores came, he did the same. From an online store, he would purchase a copy. And, the reason what he said was, um, the reason for this behavior, he said, was at least one copy should be sold. You know, at the end of the day, he wanted to make sure at least one copy should be sold because he was not sure, obviously, in the beginning that copies of his book would be sold. So this behavior, I think this dedication shows that the author is ready to he's willing or she's willing to invest money on himself or herself. I think that's very important, right? It's a very
Yes,
important
indeed, it is
behavioral
important.
pattern
And one
in
more
successful
thing,
writers.
yes, it is very important for the. I've seen many co-authors who don't buy the copies, but I believe that buying a print copy will add to them and they can use it as, just to exhibit what they've done. And it is very important that we should, in order to have that print mode even today, the start it comes from home itself. So it is very important that all the writers, it is a humble request if you see this video later, and also who participate in our future anthologies, that you need to just contribute. If you want to contribute in the Helping India Right campaign, I think the best you can do is buy as many copies. That is what you can do, and it would be you can just gift it to your near and dear ones. You can keep it for yourself. You can do so much with it. And yes, so you're absolutely right that in order to sustain and the kind of quality we are giving, because the response was phenomenal, and along with the journal, coming with the idea of the anthologies, we did it because there were so many writers who wanted to be a part of Writers' Column and the Helping India Right campaign. And yes, I believe that this is the best possible way that we could do, because in the journal we cannot incorporate all the writers, and most some might be fiction, and it is not very easy for everybody to write articles that cater to information. There are creative
True.
writers who also want platforms. So I believe that the anthologies are the best, we could say,
Yes.
gift from Writers' Column to all of
Yes.
them.
Ma'am, you have said a very important thing. Creating platforms is very important because a writer with a creative potential, he or she might not always be able to submit or to produce informational content. And it will be difficult for such a writer who's more intent to or inclined to produce artistic content, or more inclined to literary art per se. For example, a playwright or a poet or a novelist, it is very difficult for them to sustain themselves in that sense. So, our attempt through Writers' Column Publishing is to give a platform for those authors also, which should be financially viable for them as well in the future, you know, and to create such a platform where they can publish their books and they can also earn from it, and make a livelihood of writing books, which is the dream, right, for a writer. And I think that is what we are. That is where our goals intersect with these writers' goals. That is where our goals intersect. We also want to create such a platform for writers. And the
Yes,
reason why we
indeed.
wanted to do that is not because it was a very highly profitable business. It is not, by the way. Let me tell you, publishing is not a profitable business. It's a passionate business actually. Because I personally, I can say that the reason for Writers' Column Publishing is because for the past 12 years I've been writing and I've been dealing with various opportunities for getting published and dealing with publishers, connecting with them. I've realized that somewhere as an author I felt a little dampened in spirit, I should say. Little, somewhere I felt little lack of confidence in pursuing a writer's career because of the lack of financial opportunities for a writer. So I wanted to create this new platform, this new venue through Writers' Column for writers, because because as a writer, I also felt that if a publisher was willing to, publish my book without any, ulterior motives, and if I could also be paid for, the number of copies the books could sell, that would be a great opportunity for a person like me and for a person like you also. So I think that is one of the biggest goals that we have achieved here through Writers' Column Publishing, and that is our mission. And Helping India Right is obviously an attempt from our side to help people find their passion as well as their empowerment through writing. So, and believe me, trust me on this. Publishers in the traditional publishing sense, I'm talking about the traditionally the book publishing industry or book publishing area or business, whatever you want to call it. The institution of book publishing basically relies on the number of books being sold. That is the basic structure of it. But as the technologies and the opportunities increase, there are other venues of getting financial benefit. Like, for example, film deals, movie deals, audiobook deals, and other social media promotional activities and speaking opportunities, etc. These are additional bonuses, benefits. So if you want to be like, like if you want to make a lot of money writing books, obviously, you have to somehow pitch a movie deal. Number one, that's where the big money comes in. Audiobook deals are really good as well. And then obviously you have to find speaking opportunities for you as a writer. Selling books comes at the end because, as we know, people have a tendency not to purchase books. Even writers have a tendency not to purchase their own books. But obviously, trust me on this, publishers often check. Often they look at this behavioral pattern of writers, and those writers who sell not many number of books, usually publishers have a tendency to ignore them. You know, so a writer's authenticity, a writer's market value is only when he or she sells or capable of selling a particular number of books consistently. Otherwise, even if your script is good, even if your book is excellent, even if you are the next Dante or Shakespeare, nobody is going to turn to your book. Nobody is going to publish your book. You can obviously find self-publishing platforms or self-publishing houses or self-publishing vanity publishers, but then you will have to invest all the money, and obviously you will have to bear the tag that you're a self-published author right here on your forehead. It'll be written like it'll be stamped on your life. You are a self-published author, and that is a very like in India and across the world. I think that is no longer like that has always been like a denigrating remark. I've studied this phenomenon, and I've realized that it's not very easy to wash that mark from your career that easily. It's not easy to mark it off, to wash it off from your career. Being a self-published author, so you have to come out of it, find a traditional publisher, get published, but the fundamental criteria remains the same. Like the publisher will look at your bio, they will want like a survey from you. How many books do you intend to sell? Do you expect to sell? They will ask you. And then if you say that I won't even buy my own books, so I won't even buy the anthologies that I publish myself, or that my stories in which my stories, my write-ups appear. I won't even buy those books in which my write-ups appeared. Then obviously, nobody would take any interest in you. That's a big problem. So that is how publishing industry works. So if you doubt why publishers don't take you seriously, think about your own purchasing behavior. Think about your own behavior as a writer. Are you investing enough money on the business itself? Books, buying books. Are you buying books enough? Are you reviewing books enough? Reading and reviewing books are very important because that's what you give back to the industry. It's like films, film industry. It is also a very beautiful industry, just like writing, and a very influential one also, just like writing. Writing has a very important place in our society. Movies also have a very important place in society, and you must have often seen actors and filmmakers giving tribute to previous actors and filmmakers. They invest money in their own films. You must have seen that. Promote actors and filmmakers promoting their own films. For example, if a movie of Shah Rukh Khan comes in, he himself would go out and promote that movie. But authors are reluctant to do that. Why? Because they think it is a publisher's job to do that. But it's actually your own. If your book is coming out, if one of your write-ups is published in a particular book, it is your responsibility to promote it as well. Because if you can do that, if because of your name a book sells in an anthology, then obviously you are going to get a lot of attention. And that attention means that you are going to be successful. You are successful. That's what it means. You are successful. And success is your present reality then. So make sure you sell, make sure your name has some value, has some market value to it. And you have to make sure you have that value. So you have to help sell books, you have to buy your own copy, author copies also. That's a very important practice, a very humble practice. It's something that roots you in the industry, which is going to serve you in the future. All right. I think I spoke a little too much. My speech must have been really boring. Sorry, ma'am, you must have dozed off a little here
No,
or
no,
there.
no. I haven't dozed off, but whatever you said, every
Well,
word was true.
mm,
And I
mm,
would just like to add another point to it. Actually, many
mm,
points are there that Whenever a
Mm.
person goes for a traditional publishing house, the reason behind it is
Mm.
that in self-publishing, you're doing everything on your own. In traditional publishing,
Absolutely.
you can trust that person. Why do you go to a school? Why do you go to college? For that particular reason, or why do you have a mentor? So that you can be guided. At the same time, I always advise everybody that be very careful with the publisher you're choosing. Don't go for online reviews. It is always better to see personally, or
Very good.
anybody is there who can guide you, because my personal experience was very bad with the publisher
Mm.
under whom I was working, and thanks to him that Writer's Column came into being, because in a way we had certain thoughts and ideas of how a publishing house should be, and even
Yes.
under Helping India Write campaign, what we tried to do was that all the writers or authors who were exploited in any way, like even my first book didn't come out. It is out there on Amazon, everywhere it is out online, and it is not there in print. It had 60 writers, everything was there, it was done, and in the end, no, it didn't come out because of his own personal reasons. Let's not get into that, but this is how this industry works. Just as the same we hear about film industry, or
Yes.
some people, there's many actors who said this something happened and just the movie didn't come out. The same is with the writing industry, because this is
Exactly.
publishing industry is also like that, because I had that
Mm.
experience, and whenever I had to, my first book, Stories from the Soil, and thanks to Writers' Column Publishing House, it came out, and to be very honest, if I have to say that how was my experience, I felt very serene with it, because I wasn't being pressurized in any way, or I didn't have that fear that this book won't come out. The writers were very good. I had that creative space, because it's very important that in the publishing house, whoever are the people who are dealing with proofreading and creative team, the designing team, everybody are equally capable. Then only the best product can come out, like this one, Stories from the Soil. I have it in my hand,
Wow.
and yes, it is
Very good.
brilliant. It's a very brilliant one. And if I have to show it, I can show it even after many years that, yeah, this was a classic piece,
Hmm.
because it
Yes.
and even Equations of Life and Equations of Love, these books are also very good. The cover that you released, even we have upcoming anthologies coming up, they are going to be superb.
Hmm.
But I have this belief
Yes.
that any organization can grow, and if that trust factor is there, that honesty is there, that is very, very, very important. And and I have a very strong message to all the young people who are wanting to make publication houses. They're doing brilliant work, but um, there are some people like the one about whom I'm mentioning, that you cannot survive very long if you are, feeding on the dreams of writers, if you're feeding on their words, and because it this is not how things work. At the same time, all the people who uh, contribute in the writings, for example, in this book, there are 10 writers, and in your book, there are many. In Equations to Life, they were very good writers. So it is always good that we can make one contribution towards it, and that is just buying the book. And it is not any loss, because when we go to watch a movie or anything, I believe that we pay even more amount. And if you buy
True.
a book, it is something that will stay with you forever, right?
That's
And
very true.
it will be staying there forever. So it is always it's a request that do buy the copies, and yes, do participate in the upcoming anthologies, and keep showering us with your blessings and the love that we are receiving from all the writers and authors. And even with our journal, it was accepted with everybody. And yes, even this time the cover is very good. So I think I
And the another update that I'd like to share here, for those who haven't heard about this update yet, we are coming up with another literary collection, an anthology whose major theme is Delhi.
yes, yes.
Delhi, the Indian capital, Delhi. So we'll be expecting writers to write poems, stories, short stories, personal essays, even research articles, even research papers on Delhi, its culture, its history, its mythology, everything. And we are hoping that we will receive some wonderful pieces here for this anthology. 30th March is the deadline. You can submit for that anthology. The link for that anthology will be shared in on social media. Here also we can share that. Later in the bio, I can share that. And those who want to take part in that anthology, please DM us or send us a message, and we'll share the link with you. First of all, you have to register yourself by adding yourself to our WhatsApp group. There, we will be sharing the submission link, and you can submit for that anthology. Those who participate in that anthology will get an e-participation certificate, and obviously any book author copy as well. And obviously you'll get ISBN and all other similar perks that you have received for the previous anthology. And this is a wonderful time when we are working on these anthologies. But let me also tell you that we might not carry forward the anthologies in the future. We are going to limit the number of anthologies, and we are going to make a very severe take a very, very serious step regarding the way anthologies are being treated. And many authors might lose their opportunity. So make sure you submit for Delhi Anthology. Delhi is the major theme of that anthology. We are hoping that we'll get a lot of new, young, and old writers as well, experienced ones as well, for this anthology. It's such a wonderful theme, I'd say, because Delhi is the capital of India. It's not just the capital of India, it is a central area of all our memories, historical memories, Delhi, in fact, is the heart of India's history, where everything comes together. And even when I'm a person of the South, I still understand the importance of Delhi, and I still get its historical relevance. And I think that's what every Indian feels about Delhi. And this anthology is going to be superb, and definitely has a very important space in our spectrum of books. And we are planning a few other books in the future as well. Soon to come out are a book by myself. I have written a short novella which is going to come out as a book. And we are also soon releasing a book by Father Basil Maturin, which is a book on self-respect and self-realization. And that is going to come out soon. So these are the major updates regarding our publishing ventures in the coming future, in the near future. Make sure you submit for the Delhi anthology, the anthology that features Delhi as a major theme. DM us for the link. We'll be sharing it later in our bios. And you must have already seen the posters. If you haven't seen it, if you are not updated yet, make sure you follow the steps to join the anthology, and make sure you submit for the anthology. So as we were talking about, proper journey of a writer, I think the best way to find publishers. What are the best ways to find publishers? As Ankush ma'am was talking about, you know, regarding the experiences of her own journey as a writer and her own journey in the publishing area, the publishing business. I think one of the major things that we should understand is that a writer, when he or she submits with a publisher, should make sure that they have found a proper space for their book. Many publishers may have preferences of their own. Some of them may not have preferences at all. So you have to make sure what preference the publisher has whether they publish a particular kind of book, whether they publish, a certain genre alone. So you have to make sure you understand the market well before submitting itself. Okay, that is very important. Now, another important factor is that you should make sure it's just like a job interview. By the way, when I compare this with a job interview, I think that's a very relevant comparison, because it is almost like that. When you show that you're willing, when you show that you are willing to invest yourself, your effort, and your money in book related activities, not just in a particular book, but in general book related activities, then that shows that you are a serious and committed person. And publishers would definitely be encouraged to publish your book. And you have to make sure that you, through your advertisement campaigns, through your contacts, you sell at least a certain number of copies each time your book comes out, even if you are publishing your stories or poems in anthologies. Most writers, most young writers, when they publish for anthologies, they just send their work and they just relax. They just forget about it. This happened with me also in the past. And you know what happens? The damage that you do because of that is that nobody actually cares about this. People soon start forgetting you as a writer of serious content or seriousness, because your works are coming out in the form of anthologies or in literary collections or in your own book, but nobody sells it. People don't hear about it. You don't talk about it. You stop talking about your own books, and that happens with writers. With me also it happened. And obviously the downside of that is, obviously you won't get any recognition. People don't uh, give you enough importance. Often they ignore your book. And what happens with anthologies and literary collections is that people don't buy it. Readers in general, they ignore anthologies. And so if you are not ready to invest in your own book, buy a copy of your own book, at least to show the publisher that you care. You know, uh, that is uh, that is not going to help you or the publisher in any way. So my recommendation to new writers is that they should invest time in reading books. That's the first thing you need to do. You need to invest time in reading books. And when you read books, it's always good to purchase your books for reading. For example, I have this Jerome K. Jerome with me. This is a classic piece. You can find it in any library, anywhere in India, anywhere in the world, right? But you know what? I bought this copy. Just to read it, I bought it. It's published by a very important publisher in India, Rupa Books. And you know what? This book, I think, is in the copyright of this book is in public domain, I think. Copyright is in public domain. So anybody, I think there are so many publishers who publish this particular classic. Jerome K. Jerome's Three Men in a Boat. Three Men in a Boat, to say nothing of the dog. It's a classic. It's a humorous classic. And it's a really nice book, by the way. And you know what? I bought it. I could have taken it from a library. I could have borrowed it. I could have read it without even spending a single penny on it. Okay, from any public library I could have taken, but I bought it. So that is what that's the expected standard from any serious author. They should invest money in this business, not just your own book. I'm talking about in general, book publishing in general. I think it shows a lot about who you are and what you are capable of, and your seriousness as well. Make sure that you review books also. You read. It's not just book review programs or campaigns that people run these days. I'm not talking about that. You can just read and review a book just for nothing, just for the pleasure of it. Just read a book, talk about it in public, make a video of it, or maybe write a review of it. That creates a lot of impact, you know. And there are some fantastic book reviews with Writers'Kalam, our official book review, Swapna. An amazing review. What do you think, ma'am? You've read a few of her works as the chief editor of the journal. What do you think about her works? Amazing
She
reviews,
is
right? Even reviews
phenomenal.
are like,
She
if you
is
collect all her
phenomenal.
reviews, they could make a really good book, I'd say. What do you
Yes,
think?
yes, indeed,
Great
indeed.
idea. Yeah.
Book reviews are amazing, and
Mm,
all to all the readers, if you don't like writing, you can start writing by just book
mm,
reviewing. That is what you can do,
absolutely.
and it is the
Wow.
easiest thing, I would say. Like, even if your language
Excellent.
doesn't come out in
Hmm.
fluidity, still you can give it a shot in the beginning.
Yeah.
And it can be a very good source of income, or just to showcase
Hmm.
and highlight your work or your name. And Swapna is doing a phenomenal job. Like, she's very good with her book reviews, and I've become a fan of hers, and her presence in the
Yeah.
journal is very nice. And whenever I see her post, she has so many books on her table. She reads them one by one, and the way she puts in so many hours to writing a review, and the end result is very nice. I believe book reviews are the best way to know about a particular book, whether you want to read it or not. But yes, do devote some amount to buy books. That is very important because reading helps in developing your brain, your neurons, everything. You will develop a very good perspective. That is why it is said that you need to have very good friends, and friends, books can be your biggest friends. So why not give it a
Indeed.
start?
Wonderful thought. And comparing Swapna's reviews, I think she is of a higher level of a reviewer. But even if you are a starting reviewer, even if just a debut reviewer, suppose you if you are just starting off as a reviewer, I think what you have said is absolutely correct. Just don't bother about language or anything. Just like read a book and just scribble a few words, few lines about what you felt, right? That's amazing. That's a great suggestion, ma'am. And I think one of the major platforms where you can just drop a review would be Amazon. Like I've seen, like it has like a scoring value also. Like it also shows how many people saw your reviews. It shows how many people told your reviews are helpful or not. So these they're actually motivating factors. So and there are so many other platforms like Goodreads, for example. They offer mighty platform for reviewers in particular. So even if you are a beginner, don't be discouraged. Just write your reviews. And as a publishing house, Writers Column Publishing is now looking for authors who are dedicated, serious in their craft to submit their manuscript. If you have a novel, novella, short story collection, poetry collection, non-fiction, personal essay collection, autobiography, or even a biography. We accept all genres, but we do not accept explicit content, violence or pornography or explicit sexual content. We don't accept that. We accept all genres other than that. And please do send your manuscripts. Please do send your book suggestions. Visit www.writers'kalam.com and just fill in the form. You'll find a form there, just a Google form. Just fill it and submit it, and we'll get back to you. Okay. Hopefully, you'll be able to give wings to your dreams, or should we say, a book rack to your dreams. We could actually give that. So do hit us with your ideas. We are waiting for authors to submit to us full book ideas, and we make sure that the books sell. So we in the questionnaire, we have a questionnaire for you, which you'll find, which you can access in the form, in the form of the form, and it'll be given in the website. You can access it. When you are filling the form, you will find a questionnaire in which we are asking how many copies you are expected to sell. Let that question not be too daunting to you. Just calculate your number of friends, count the number of people who can actually buy your book, and let us know, because that's very important. As a publisher, you need to know whether your author is serious about it. Because there are so many people who are not serious about their writing. They just want their books out and they just want to hold one copy. And for that one copy, they just ruin the whole, industry. They're not serious about anything else. They're not serious about readers. They're not serious about what a reader is going to get. They don't think about readers. Writers who don't think about readers, um, I mean, it's very difficult to like adjust with that category of writers, because you have to think about readers. Every writer writes for a reader. There should be a reader in the mind of a writer. Stephen King, American author Stephen King, a thriller horror author, a legend. He often speaks about this constant reader, whom he addresses in most of the prefaces of his books. And that's one of the biggest lessons that every new writer can learn from. And yeah. So, ma'am, what do you think? It's almost 7:06 now. I think
Yes.
it's your dinner time, dinner
No.
calls, right?
No, this is so
I don't
embarrassing,
want your
but yeah.
chapatis to get cold. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, guys, I think we can wind up today's session here. It was a wonderful session because I hope it's an expectation and a hope that we have helped you guys understand the process of publishing a little bit, and how to attract publishers to you as an author. Be serious about your writing and keep readers in your mind. I think these are the two things that we came up with, right? Right, man, what do you think? Yeah. And the importance of writing book reviews, right? Yeah, that's amazing. That's very important. What do you think, man? What are the final words that you would like to conclude this short live session with?
Well, I
Any
have
few
just,
words? Yeah.
yeah, I would like to conclude by saying that if you want to participate in helping in the right campaign, the first step is
Hmm.
you can be a part of these anthologies and go
Yes.
participate in these because it's very important for any campaign or any new good idea or any venture to sustain
Yes.
financially, and that can be only
Hmm.
done through your contribution. And if you are participating in anthologies, do buy the copies. And if you're an author if you're a writer who wants to be an author, then definitely the best platform for you is Writer's Column. So do send us an email or DM us. I just have these words, and thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So let's wind up the session. Have a wonderful evening, guys. Take care and have a great weekend. Read a lot, write a lot, and if possible, drop a review for a book that you read. Take care.